Welcome back to Bike Culture Hub. That's the story of the 2025 Honda CB400, a motorcycle that doesn't scream for attention, yet demands respect. It's the kind of bike that appeals not just to your adrenaline, but also to your intellect, your nostalgia, and maybe even your sense of style. This isn't about brute force or breaking land speed records. This is about harmony, mechanical, visual, and emotional. The CB400 has always lived in that delicate space between approachability and heritage, and the 2025 model continues that tradition, with a level of polish and subtle evolution that reminds you why Honda has long been the king of middleweights. Let's start with what's under the tank, because that's really where the CB400 begins to show its soul. Powering the 2025 model is a 399cc liquid-cooled inline-four engine, a rare breed in today's market where parallel twins have become the go-to for budget and mid-range bikes. This engine is a work of mechanical poetry. It revs smooth, sings a high-pitched note that borders on sport bike euphoria, and delivers its power in a creamy linear wave. We're talking around 48 horsepower at 10,500 RPM and 38 meters of torque, peaking at about 90 RPM. Numbers that might seem modest on paper, but tell a very different story when you actually ride the thing. The beauty of the CB400's engine isn't in how fast it goes, but in how it makes you feel while it gets there. Every twist of the throttle feels rewarding. It encourages you to chase the red line, not because you have to, but because you want to. It's got that classic Honda refinement, no hiccups, no harshness, just an endlessly eager response. Whether you're commuting, carving up a twisty road on a Sunday morning, or simply cruising through town, the bike feels alive in your hands, paired with a slick 6-speed gearbox and a featherlight clutch. Shifting becomes almost subconscious. It doesn't fight you. It flows with you. The gear ratios are well spaced, keeping the bike lively without making it too rev-happy at cruising speeds. And now for 2025, Honda has thrown in a slipper clutch, a small but welcome upgrade that smoothens downshifts and adds a bit of extra safety and control when you ride more aggressively. It's the kind of modern touch that enhances the riding experience without betraying the classic roots of the machine. Speaking of riding experience, let's talk about how the CB400 handles. The chassis is still that tried-and-true double-cradle steel frame. Lightweight, balanced, and supremely communicative. Honda hasn't messed with the formula too much here, and they didn't need to. The bike weighs in at just under 190 kilograms wet, which means it feels nimble and responsive without ever getting twitchy or nervous. You can flick it through corners with confidence, but it also remains rock steady at high speeds. Suspension duties are handled by a 41 Shoei SFF BFP front fork. That's separate function fork, big piston, for those not in the know. It's non-adjustable but tuned beautifully right out of the box. There's just enough travel to soak up potholes and undulations without compromising on road feel. At the rear, you've got twin shock absorbers with 5-step preload adjustment, giving you some room to tweak the ride depending on your load or preference. It's old school in its layout but modern in its damping. Combined, the suspension setup strikes that golden middle ground, sporty enough to enjoy spirited riding, comfortable enough to commute daily, and versatile enough to take on longer weekend rides. Braking is handled by a dual-disc setup up front, with 2 piston calipers and a single disc at the rear, all assisted by a dual-channel ABS system. Again, nothing over the top, but it's all impeccably calibrated. The brakes feel progressive, predictable, and powerful enough for any realistic scenario you'd encounter on public roads. This is a motorcycle that prioritizes control over raw aggression, and it shows in every component choice. Now, let's take a step back and talk design, because if the CB400's engine is its soul, then its design is definitely its heartbeat. The 2025 model pays homage to the timeless UJM, Universal Japanese, motorcycle aesthetic. It's clean, symmetrical, and honest. No fake vents, no excessive bodywork, just a teardrop fuel tank, a perfectly proportioned seat, and subtle lines that echo the past while staying relevant to today's sensibilities. The tank itself is slightly reshaped for 2025. It holds 16 liters of fuel and now has a more sculpted, muscular contour that flows better into the seat. You'll also notice new color options this year: a deep metallic navy with gold striping, a stealthy matte black, and a classic candy red that screams vintage Honda. The gold-scented cast wheels are a nod to the CBs of yesteryear, and they really help the bike stand out in a subtle, tasteful way. The round LED headlamp keeps things retro while delivering modern illumination. Turn signals and tail lights have all gone LED too, and they're nicely integrated without looking overly minimalistic or soulless. The dash is a twin-pod unit with analog-style dials for speed and revs, but tucked within are small LCD screens showing gear position, fuel level, and trip info. It's that perfect blend of classic looks and modern utility. You never feel like you're riding something outdated, but you're also not bombarded with tech you don't need. Ergonomically, the CB400 is a masterclass in comfort. The rider triangle is neutral, upright, and easygoing. The seat height is a friendly 785 mm, making it accessible to a wide range of riders. The seat itself is wide, supportive, and good for long hours on the saddle. Honda's done a great job keeping vibrations in check, so your hands and feet won't be buzzing after a long day of riding. The switchgear feels premium, the bar end weights help with stability, and the mirrors actually let you see behind you. Imagine that. But perhaps the biggest strength of the CB400 is how well it fits into real life. It's not trying to dominate Instagram feeds or lap records. It's not trying to be the loudest or fastest or most extreme. It's a bike that slips into your day like it was always meant to be there. It's a commuter, a weekend tourer, a cafe hopper, and even a canyon carver, all rolled into one tidy, reliable, and immensely likable package. Whether you're a new rider just getting your feet wet, or a seasoned veteran who wants something that doesn't ask for too much, the CB400 delivers. And it delivers every single time. Now, what about pricing? The 2025 Honda CB400 comes in at approximately $6.70 USD, depending on your region and any dealer fees. And considering the build quality, the engine character, and the long-term reliability Honda is known for, that price tag starts looking like a pretty solid value. It's not the cheapest 400cc on the market, but you're paying for refinement, legacy, and a platform that will probably outlive your desire to replace it. And while it doesn't come with a TFT dash or smartphone connectivity, you won't miss them. What it does offer is something far more difficult to quantify: connection. You feel connected to the bike, you feel connected to the road, and you feel connected to a long lineage of riders who've come to love the CB name not for its flash, but for its substance. So who's this bike really for? It's for the rider who wants to escape the spec sheet arms race and enjoy the ride. It's for the enthusiast who understands that motorcycles are about balance, not just numbers. It's for the commuter who wants something reliable but refuses to settle for something soulless. It's for the rider who smiles when they walk into the garage, not because they're about to unleash mayhem, but because they're about to enjoy a damn fine ride. In an era of hyper-focused machines, adventure tourers, supernags, cafe racers, scramblers, and track weapons, the 2025 Honda CB400 quietly holds its ground as a motorcycle that simply does everything well. It's not niche, it's not loud, but it's honest. And that honesty is its superpower. So the next time you walk past one parked on the street, take a moment, look closer. Because the 2025 Honda CB400 isn't just a motorcycle, it's a philosophy, one of balance, purpose, and timeless appeal. And that's something worth riding for.